But anyways, their old design engineer, Elwood Angle, was the one that replaced it. So it was Virgil Exner. He's the one that came up with all the fin designs and the forward look Mopars in the late 50s and early 60s. Well, he was at a disagreement, I think, with the Chrysler corporate in the early 60s when he had to get rid of the fins on the cars and stuff. So in the 1962 model year, it was rumored to almost be on purpose that he designed the ugliest cars on purpose. And right after that, he left the company or was fired or whatever. But the 1962 Plymouth and Dodge is like the ugliest thing, and it basically like cut their sales figures way in half or whatever it was, and they were always playing catch up since then. Then they went through the 60s and early 70s, and they've always been up into the mid 70s. They were almost going bankrupt again, and they're still making big cars that were too big, or the Chrysler or the Plymouth Volare and the Dodge Aspen that were rusting out in the lots and had to replace all the parts on them. It was just crazy. They only lasted a few years. Basically, they were struggling all the way to the point where the early 80s when Lee Iacocca got involved.
And then everything had a turbo in it.
Well, not everything. They decided to start building the front-wheel drive, simple, cheap Dodge Aries and Plymouth Reliant or whatever.
And the Shelby GLH.
That came much later, but that was their excitement for that. There was like a reward.
I had one
selling.
of those stay door to door with me in my 03 Cobra, like back in the day.
They're cool as hell. I had that 86 Daytona Turbo Z, Carroll Shelby edition with the CS with the big sway bars. They had 140 horsepower, but it was a lot of fun. Black leather interior, T-tops, which I never took off because they don't make the seals, and if that starts leaking, you're kind of fucked.
So I never took the T-tops off on my Z.
But and they were what they were. But basically, they've always been kind of struggling since the early 60s. I don't think there's really a point. I think the last like 20 years or so with the LX platform was like the last thing that they really built that a lot of people bought.